Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Thank you for joining us in this holiness this Sunday morning to celebrate all the love that's given by God for us and to thank Jesus for guiding us through the maze of consciousness, to pretend like we can't be infinite beings in the play, even while being infinite beings. So thank you, Jesus. And we ask you to show us, as being in charge of the atonement, to show us what we need to see. And I've mentioned this, and I can see it becoming even more valuable every day. Ask me about this, and have his interpretation on everything. It's like you don't need to, someone saying, well, I heard this from so-and-so, or and it's like, you don't even have to get involved in that. He says, just ask me. So-and-so said that, it's like, okay, Jesus, what are you saying about it? Like, you can go directly to him, because every being, I'm so grateful for this teaching, because it can be directly experienced. It's not like one being can hear Jesus and another can't, or someone has him with the clarity of Helen. Every being who chooses to can develop a relationship with Jesus, in which you have a fireside chat with them all day long. And it's just demonstrated, over and over in the joining sessions. Just over and over, it's being demonstrated as the brothers come together and listen and speak Jesus. And he's showing us how, by listening and speaking, it's washing out the old voice. And it's reaffirming that we can hear his voice. Everyone can hear his voice. That's his direct. There's no other message from a new covenant. It is a reminder that what he's given in ACIM is true, that it can be directly experienced. It's not something for a future, it's now. And he's fulfilling his promise with the beings willing to foster that relationship and open up and be like little children and naked to his words. And then he just, he goes right down to the denial, and he explains directly the Course metaphysics, so it sings in the heart, not so it just seems like something in a book, or you talk about which book's better, or so that's direct experience, that infinite light is here and that we're in full support. And you can just hear the beings who, we're going to have another joining session coming up soon, because it's just stunning beauty of beings. Just whether, it doesn't matter if you're new to the Course or not. You just ask for help and it'll be given. And I'm willing to hear your voice, and he'll coach you right through the entire Course in Miracles directly through guidance. And this new way of just looking, the simplicity of it. And yes, there are so many ways. There's all kinds of ways to find the way home, because we're home already. It's not like hidden from us. The play in consciousness is pretend, okay, where is it? Missing in action. To play like the light is missing in action. So this is just an invitation for the power that we have, that each of us has. Like, it's not for one or another, or, this is the only equal opportunity employer there is God. And he doesn't want anything from us. He gives everything to us. Thank you for that reminder, Jesus. It's just really beautiful. And, you can get all kinds of reflections on the spiritual journey. But he'll make it so clear, like right here. That's what was needed here. As I said, I think it took however many times, 4 or 5 times even to get past couldn't even get past lesson 60. I felt like devils were coming. And they were coming out to be seen. Desire to play devil. But now it's a whole new way at the devil. Here's the and we can laugh at it, Now he's showing us a whole new way, not to be afraid of the devil, but just go down there and see the play is like a little, that little, I want to one up you, Jesus, one up God, one up the chip, the little chips we're carrying on our shoulders to be protected from infinite. And he goes down there, or you could just carry around, it would have a book with 1 page in it. It says, you say it so many times, you're right again, Jesus. That's once again, you're right and I'm wrong. And then you just see the happiness quotient goes up directly proportional by the number of times you say that. It's like, and the more you're willing to hear you're wrong, it goes straight up. Okay, I'm wrong again. Just admit it really fast. I need your help. It goes from you like this. I don't want to hear you. Oh, he's right. Oh, he's right. He's the only thing going, You just go up and ask him everything. It's so great. That's all he says. It's like, ask me. Okay. It's so inspiring. It's so inspiring to hear him through our brother and, and see how he's just there for you right there, And you can ask him thousands of questions. It's so beautiful. Like Mariska, we had a joining and then she said, just today, I just talked to Jesus all day and he just told me everything. And then there'll be times where you just don't want to talk to him whatsoever. I don't want to. It's like you're like 2. I don't want to talk to you, but at least we can see that the terrible twos that have lasted our whole play. Terrible twos is consciousness. It's so beautiful how consciousness in form with little kids and everything seems to reflect. That's pretty much it. It's no, 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 no. And you thought, okay, we're going to grow out of that no phase. No, we're still doing it. It's good to go back to remember when you were 2, how are you saying no to everything? Because that's what we're doing with Jesus. No, no, no. Don't come near me. Oh my gosh, it's so precious. And so many good movies. Like, oh my gosh, Off the Chain, the movies. You see them new, right? As I said about the Sin Eater last night when I first watched, I'm not just liking this movie so much. Now it's like, oh my gosh, you just get the whole thing, kit and caboodle, just delivered out. How much really to turn that focus on consciousness on death, the shark looking for an excuse to kill something or someone. You turned it inward to see what's below the level of awareness that wants to kill something. And you'll say it too. I mean, but it's honesty, actually. You feel like you're going to be sent to court. Well, you can come here and say it if you want. Because, someone said, I feel like I want to kill something. Like I said in community at La Casa, I went up to the steward and said, I feel like I want to kill you. But it allows that to just rise up, the play to be right here instead of like hidden. And then we don't know why we're so much in unrest. And in that experience of not resting as infinite, that's the ego play coming up. And it's like, okay, I can see it now. Before I just felt anxious. Oh, I thought the devils were going to get me, like I said, It was possible. Obviously, there was a plain consciousness to believe in devils. Getting eaten by Satan or whatever, however that movement. I can ask Jesus about it because he's the only one clear about what's most helpful. But he said, he's telling me it's helpful to see that and see the innocence in it. Like consciousness likes that play of the light and the dark. It's just the real question is how long, like he's saying, this is a required curriculum to see that nothing's happening. I ask him, Jesus, is like this whole thing, the whole big fat book, is that just for me to see that nothing's happening or ever happened to holiness? Can you find something happening, holiness, getting infinite light? It doesn't get changed by any of this. And then you can just watch the play of interpretive function. Look at the interpretation, but it's not you. All kinds of things. Consciousness is an idea factory. It's a thought factory, and then the thoughts make the pictures. Is the light involved in any of it? That's a good question, Jesus. He says your true nature doesn't get involved at all in that. That's why the training, we keep going to him, go to the light, ask the light's interpretation over and over and over and over again, to be wrong as many times as possible. Because happiness is being wrong. As he says, there's a desire to be right over happy. So, okay, Jesus, I'm willing to be shown again at the deepest level, whatever you would like to show me on lesson 19. Yeah, he's just reminding me, it's just guidance. My guidance to you is to first and foremost ask me and listen, of course, for my answer, and then follow. Ask, listen, follow. And then you can ask him, Jesus, is this your plan for peace? He said it's the only plan for peace. Because without following that inner light, even when we're looking at these lessons, and he'll coach you one-on-one on the lessons. You can ask him, Jesus, will you coach me one-on-one? He said, if you're willing to hear my voice. Okay, I'm willing. I am not alone and experience the effects of my thoughts. So will you tell me about this? So the play in consciousness is play like there's a figure that's alone. And then scream, I've been abandoned by God. See, that's the little cycle. The play of feeling desolate and alone. It's desired experience. He's saying this is desired experience. To play alone. Take my little tinker toys and go home. But we're not going home. We're taking little tinker toys and then going out, seemingly outside of love. So we feel outside of love through desire to experience feeling outside of infinite. Outside of all the love the Father has for us. See that infinite light doesn't have such a boundary on it. It doesn't go anywhere. You are home. Home is identity. So it's like a little snooze. When we have a twitch, it's the snooze button going, I'm trying to snooze here. You can ask Jesus, Jesus, is that showing me where I'm snoozing? Is pain showing me where I'm in the sleep? The separated one, playing the separated one. And so then I'll have all my little thoughts to myself. See, and then I'll have my little experience for myself. And then you sit on I'm going to go and relax and get away. I'm going to sit on a sunset beach and I'm going to argue with someone seemingly outside myself about the color of the sunset and how many birds went by. You know, it's just to create these little scenarios and then pretend like there's an argument happening when there's only one. So there's no one arguing. That one doesn't argue with itself. It takes the idea of two. But the play is all inside the mind to play like two. Like it has a little private kingdom in there of thoughts and to be alone. So wanting thought to feel alone. Yes, he said it's wanting the play of thoughts in order to feel alone rather than one. So those are little tinker toys. The little thoughts are the little tinker toys. The little stories, little tinker toys, and I'm going to go play. And then we yell loudly. I certainly did. Don't take those or you're going to, don't, like the 2-year-old, right? You're taking away my thoughts. I want my thoughts. I think I told this story when I was in community and I was like mad. I was pounding the table going, I don't want to look at my thoughts. Exactly. The ego's not going to want to look at them. See, as soon as we turn in to start looking, you get that play. No, I don't want to look. So it's the play of running, the play of trying to escape ourselves. So we go and play the tinker toys, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it's scary in here. Because we're alone. It's the signal of the no. Fear is a signal of the no to God. That's all it is. It's like bing, bing, bing. This isn't true. Pain, bing, bing, bing. It's just telling us we're playing in the untrue. It's a little wake-up call. Oh, except we just went deeper into the play and look for the solution in the play of consciousness, inside of keeping our little effects of thoughts. We stayed in there. Jesus is saying, no, you're facing the wrong direction. Just turn toward the light. Oh, the light's still here. It takes 1 second because it's the holy instant. Oh, is the light still here? Yeah. And then breaking the habit of turning the face away from the light to play at the tinker toys of consciousness. Just, oh, right, I'm the light. To turn away from the play of seemingly there's something out there. Again, I think that roach was hilariously funny. To really look at picking out an object and it's moving, and then have it look at it as though it's going to impact you. But it doesn't matter. You can just take that and transfer the training to anything. Start noticing. Oh, that's interesting. Like we're just curious. Just watch the memory. Just look at a couch or something in your family that's been there for a long time and just notice it. Just notice instead of being affiliated with it. Jesus said this is helpful. You just kind of notice the bloom out of an entire story about like my grandmother's teacup. Now he's pointing it as an example. This beautiful little teacup. And I love my grandmother. And she gave it to me. And then it was really, oh, my grandmother gave me that little teacup. And you can just look at it and then all the memories will come. So we keep little memories seemingly in objects, that it's the play in consciousness that affiliates. It's a little linking factory. It links meaning to things. But okay, so I'm aware of the teacup. That had the, it would generate, looking at will generate memory. Well, then now we look around the room and see billions of, unlimited number of objects in a room, walking outside, nature. I'm peaceful in nature. No, it's every object. It doesn't matter if it's nature or it's an idea that an object like nature brings peace. See, peace is our identity. So it's a way consciousness plays. That's why he's having us look so carefully around the room, or just to see how that heat-seeking missile going out, looking for looking for the no to God. It's hunting for it. No, no, I'm going to find it. And then is the mind, he's helping us clear the mind. Then you see, wait a minute, nothing's happening. And then the reminder that's so helpful about this, working with Jesus, it's like, okay, I was aware and I can look at it, right? And then he can use that as an example. Okay, now here's where you're given meaning to an object, right? And then if I were to give it away, right? Oh my God, I can't give that away because, see, the because comes up. I can't give that cup away because he's not saying you give everything away. He's just showing us how to look at an object and we split it out from all the whole, and how really then the story's generated. But there are thousands of objects, billions of objects that we're surrounded by all the time. And we don't even know where we've abdicated the kingdom to all the different objects. And so that's running below the level of awareness, like a shark. And we feel anxious because we've given the kingdom away to objects out in form. We can't have peace. So we need him. And then he comes in and he's showing us where we've given away the kingdom to things, try to make things outside of ourselves, salvation. And so the example as far as that cup, in looking at him, because the belief, okay, it was my grandmother and she gave it to me and that meant love. So you can see that to give that away, like I needed to keep the cup to experience love. Like the belief in the mind was, if I gave that cup away, then it would be limitation. It would be a loss. That's just one cup. I mean, my house was full of those kinds of things when I think about it. Just a plethora of things that it's just a plain consciousness to find salvation in. I'll have peace if I keep the cup. See, and if I give the cup away, I'll be hell, or you're letting your grandmother down. Just one object like that. So you can have them teach you, okay, that just for learning purposes. Okay, tell me about this. And then we're triggered all the time on trying to get control over objects, and we don't understand why we're so unhappy. But we don't even see it. That's the other thing he's showing me. It's like you don't even see all the places where you're really unhappy till he actually shows you. That's experience here. How that manufacturing plant of thought and associating with thought is actually so unhappy, and then we fight him for it. We fight him. I'm going to keep my thoughts. I want those, and to find a solution for the problems in the world through thought. No, the consciousness generates the perception that there's a problem, and then wants within consciousness to try to create a solution to it. When that's impossible, the solution can never be found in thought. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. He says, see that you can never truly be alone in the light of divine being. And see that it's not so. That's all he's telling us with each lesson. Just see that it can't be true. Thank you for reminding us, Jesus. The idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. You will notice that at times the ideas relating to thinking precede those relating to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. The reason is that order does not matter. Oh, this is so deep. Okay, Jesus. Yeah. Because the thought and the results are at the same time. So thoughts are just generating experience. And you'll see that the beings will say, God, this seems so fast. Well, it's simultaneous. That a thought comes up and then we experience something. We experience pain because they're simultaneous. For cause and effect are never separate. Everything's simultaneous. You can ask him, Jesus, is everything simultaneous? And here, yes. And you can ask him, Jesus, is cause and effect separate? It's impossible. So consciousness is the play of cause and effect separate. And even when this is seen, I can still, you're still working with him. He's still helping where those little pockets of desired experiences, the thought pockets, the little hidden thought, the little hidden no thoughts. The desire to say no is hidden in there under the level of awareness. Today, we are again emphasizing the fact that minds are joined. And he's reminding me how joining carries the power of God with it, encouraging us to join. But join in mind to see what's already joined. Continually seeing that joining's here. And how stabilizing that is. Because consciousness is meant to be unstable. The changing is always unstable. That's the function of thought and change, to the instability. That's the addiction. He's saying, yes, the addiction is to that instability, loves it. Not like love loves love. Relishes staying in the changing. It's a relished pretending like, so it's really wanting to have those changeful experiences and not admit that it's a miscreation. It's a desired experience. Today, we are again emphasizing the fact that minds are joined. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea first. Because that's what he's saying, we want to be alone and pretend like, okay, everything's outside myself. It's like, oh man, Jesus, it's showing me that in spades. Like, wow, I want everything outside myself, kind of. That's why you have to, at least here, I have to check, you check in with them. Like, it's okay, just check in. Okay, everything's joined, good, because there's such a tendency to go in there and go like, get really involved in the thoughts, in the little thought Ferris wheel. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea at first. What's helpful to see is the truth that we're not welcoming that we're joined. Let's just ask them, Jesus, am I willing to welcome that minds are joined? And if it's no, it's okay. It's just here now. We can see what he's saying. That's true. I don't want to feel. I could see that, boy. I don't want minds to be joined one bit, but you don't really. Don't want to admit that. No, it's okay if I'm one, but I don't want no one. I don't want. I think I told that hilarious story. Like, I could see there are no bodies, but it's okay for me not a body. But boy, that would be too spooky if everybody out there didn't have a body. It was like, oh, I could just feel. It was like that. Oh, they all have to have a body too. Just how consciousness plays to make bodies outside, try to make bodies out there. This is rarely a wholly welcome idea at first, since it seems to carry with it an enormous sense of responsibility. Okay, let's look at that. So if minds are joined, do I feel a sense of responsibility? You show me that? So I'm going to ask for a miracle. Just oh. See if there are any remnants in there on a sense of responsibility. I trust him so equivocally. If he says something, this I'm going to look with him for sure. Okay. Is there any sense of response? No, about feeling joined. That you can just ask him and see what he tells you. And then you can look at it really directly. Not wholly welcome. Am I not welcoming in any way, shape, or form the fact? He doesn't say, you know, maybe. It's like Jesus. It's a fact that minds are joined. I have any resistance to minds being joined? I mean, just the love that comes just from asking him. You know, that's why I talk about that a lot. Like, just when we really turn in and you start turning into them, like you get that little love cuddle. I can't even call it a cuddle. I know what it is, but just this love, infinite love comes just by turning in, you know, and just asking them and comfort, the great comforter. Their sense, it seems to be carried with an enormous sense of responsibility. Can I give that over to you? Just give that over to Jesus, and may even be regarded as an invasion of privacy. That's the gig, isn't it? That's why beings don't want to join. I know that here, there's a play here for sure. I'm going to ask them if there's any more of that. I feel like privacy is going to be invaded with this joining. That's why he's saying beings won't join. Like for the chapter 20, because they feel vulnerable, because it's a desire to feel vulnerable. See, the only thing that can be discovered, he's saying, through going through chapter 20 with me is you're invulnerable. You'll discover you're completely invulnerable. That's pretty deep. He says, for me, discovered invulnerability. The only reason why we talk to him is to discover our invulnerability. So he's lifting off the responsibility and teaching us that we're only responsible to see that we're holy. That's it. And quit denying. You know, I love that honesty of God so much. I'm so thankful, Jesus, for honesty of God, because I needed something really simple. Because I was that, you know, that high analytical scientific, you know, he tells me he can use that, you know, like he did with Helen. You know, they were scientists too, a different kind of scientists. But he'll use everything. So he doesn't judge anything. But I can see that high analytical, it was basically an argument and thought duke out to be analyzed. And if I could analyze something, then I would be safe play. You know, that was the little play running there. To keep it that I would know something. See, it keeps that little privacy thing going. But to be so open that, okay, don't know anything. That's heaven, isn't it? He says, yes. So he's showing us where we want to keep those little thoughts alone to ourselves in the little thought kingdom. Where we want to have privacy, the whole concept that you can find anywhere you want to have privacy, it'll be specialness. You can ask them. Invasion of privacy, specialness. You know, I have to protect my privacy. Privacy laws. Big brother's coming to get you by invading your privacy. Now, the Spirit's practical. That's why we just go to him with respect to these things. But that's why living in close quarters, just like, that's just where you really discover where you have ideas about privacy. You know, the idea that something can be the little fiefdom of privacy. See, the infinite light doesn't know what privacy is. It's like, does the infinite light of being find a little pocket of private? It's just open. That's why we have 24/7. You can join, come in. It's like, if Jesus can do it, that's why I feel about it. So much love in that. If Jesus is available 24/7 for joining, then that's joy. And then some would think, okay, that's invasion of privacy. Like, you start to see you don't want to have any privacy because you see how much suffering there is in that. Yet it is a fact that there are no private thoughts. You can ask Jesus, Jesus, are in there any private thoughts? It's trying to keep that little fiefdom alive. So I ask him which thoughts to share or is helpful, what's most helpful. And at first, just revealing all the thoughts can be helpful. But true helpfulness is hearing his voice and speaking his voice. He said, that's the fastest way. Hear my voice, speak my voice, and don't get involved in all kinds of different. And then see where you're saying no to that voice. That's where you want to keep, so he's saying where you say no to that voice is where you're trying to keep something private, actually. You're trying to keep it private. So it's not just saying the thoughts, because consciousness says thoughts all the time. There's all kinds of thoughts in consciousness. It's not, see that where you're holding on to something that says no to God thought, that saying no to the God thought, thoughts that say no to the God thought, and then be willing to see those a new way. Be willing to see every single thought a new way. Just go to Jesus with it. I'm coming to you to look at this different. I'm coming to you to, and it might be going to your brother, but the process is not the gig, you know. Like he'll provide these little what seem to be processes, but the fundamental underthing is, Lori's this. That little willingness signal, that is the only thing that carries the power of God with it. You see, you're carried by the power of God. She's sitting over there. This came in last night. I love you, Lori. She's going to play for us a little later. So yeah, we have some music here, but it's only that. It doesn't matter. It's not a process. It's the W that carries the power of God with it to see it differently and be willing to look at everything. I'm willing to look at everything with you, Jesus. It's not, you know, the miscellaneous, because you'll get lost in the thoughts and what you're hiding. You don't even know what you're hiding. Doesn't that get more clear? You're like babbling and you don't know what you're hiding even, but the babbling is to protect what's hidden. That's why it's so helpful. Him just going, okay, let me show you. And he takes you down there, you know, the experience. I mean, it's not really down, but you can't talk about it any. There's no way to talk about it, but it just seems like he takes you in a little elevator. He says, sorry to talk. And he'll go, no, he'll pinpoint it. Because there's this story and kerfuffle and it's not bad. None of it's bad. Tears, crying or whatever. He's going to just save time. Jesus, I feel upset. That's something hidden. That's a clue. I feel pain, something hidden. Just like, you know, it's like something's hidden here. I can look with you. You'll go, yes. Do you see how fast it is? Like twitch. Oh, I can look. Oh, I can look. It gets inspiring, you know, more. Oh, there's something to look at. Instead of something, we're so used to hiding it in a story and yabbering about it. That's not revealing it. What's revealing it is to ask Jesus, show me the underlying conditions. And he'll go and it'll pop out, or it'll pop out of your brother's mouth too in these joining sessions that he's given. It'll like, oh, that's what it is. Saves so much time. Because he'll tell you exactly what you have hidden. If you're willing, if you do this, like, okay, I'm just willing, give it to me and stand into it. Because the ego wants to, you know, hide under a blanket. So just have no privacy with Jesus. Like, it's so helpful. You just go naked. Okay, I'm just going to look at it anyway. Like, because the privacy is from ourselves. We're keeping the no hidden from ourselves. And like, the more they hear, the more I go with them, like, okay, there's something, I'm not peaceful. The more I see, shoot, there's a start seeing the little rat holes down there where something's being held. And then just focusing on speaking, hearing the true and speaking the true. Hearing the true, speaking the true. We're so used to speaking the serpent's tongue. Here's what he's teaching. You can go really quickly instead of like spending time in the kerfuffle, you can go, okay, let me hear what Jesus is saying about it and let it come out. See, and then you just go right to the talk. I mean, that was such a great gift from him when he was teaching me that in going into that prison system and coaching. And then he was showing me, like, there was a lot of coaching and a lot of talking, and where it just went directly to join with me in a moment of light, put the upset in the light, and then they'd start speaking Jesus. They'd start speaking Jesus, speaking God. He was teaching me how quick that correction is and how the solution is quick. It's like, and you listen and the voice starts speaking through. And he was also teaching me that everyone can speak, until I, saw that that's just the natural voice. That's what he's teaching. This is about as direct as you can get, really. See that you're light, join with me in light, hear what I'm telling you about it, and you'll move right through it. Here's what Jesus is teaching me about that. It's just simple. There is no private thoughts. Despite your initial resistance to this idea, okay, let's ask them. I love asking them. Okay, Jesus, is there any resistance to this idea? Here's another Jesus fact. No private thoughts. Jesus, are any thoughts private? We can ask them. No. You can hear it? No. That's a play in consciousness. Okay, so no private thoughts. Is there any resistance to private thoughts? That there are no private thoughts. Okay, so he's saying that's part of the play of belief in sacrifice. That I'll sacrifice something if everything's exposed to the light. You will yet understand that it must be true if salvation is possible at all. Yes, okay, let's look at that deeply. Salvation is possible. See, the ego's play is by keeping all these little pockets of no to God's under there. The play is that will be salvation. You can ask Jesus. So Jesus, do I believe that these little pockets if I keep things hidden, because we're hiding them from ourselves, really, because there's no one to hide them from. You can see in the light of divine being, if there's only one, who can hide anything? There's no one to hide anything from. Hiding's a concept. Ask him, Jesus, is hiding a concept? Is the idea that there are private thoughts, is that a concept? And here's the answer. So that's a concept, that they're private thoughts. And that's what's been so helpful with the simulcasting that he's doing with us, like in those joining sessions where you're both hearing at the same time, just to see the one mind. As the like privacy laws, the laws of the borders are laid down in the judgment about what's arising. Lay them down, give them to me with willingness to be shown. Then you can see, then you don't live in a border. You see that light doesn't have a border on it, and how protected we feel when we feel like there's a thought that we're not going to reveal to Jesus or even a brother. Brother is a Jesus representative. So if you can't say it to a brother, then you're not going to be talking to Jesus about it either. It's just willingness. willingness to be shown. It was so beautiful in The Last Sin Eater, how she was so sure she'd killed her sister. But the good news is with that, she was not willing. And then someone told her, well, you know, after you die, the sin eater will eat it. And she wasn't willing to settle with that. She was going to find another way to be free. I think she actually said it, you know, she felt dead now. We feel dead now when we keep these little pockets. You will yet understand that it must be true. And salvation must be possible because it is the will of God. The minute or so of mind searching which today's exercise is required, is to be undertaken with the eyes closed. Okay. Again, I just trust them, you know, to follow them. So on point. Eyes closed. Okay, Jesus, I trust you. Eyes closed. The idea for today is to be repeated first. Okay. And then the mind should be carefully searched for the thought it contains at that time. Okay, let's do that. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. As you consider each thought that comes by, name it in terms of the central person or theme it contains. And holding it in your mind as you do so, say, I am not alone in experience the effects of this thought about whoever it is or whatever's in mind. So I'm just going to spend some time with Jesus on this. Jesus, will you help me see anything else I need to see on this? He says, just, oh, so much love. He desires you, just so much love. He says, oh, when you're really open to these, you just will feel such a sense of relaxation in it. Because the ego is such an insistence that you're alone. I insist I'm alone, and I'm insisting that God has abandoned me. He gives us these little thought neutralizers. They're like, you know, like Alka-Seltzer, and you put it in there and then it fizzes and you drink it and your tummy quits aching. These are like the Alka-Seltzers of consciousness, you know. Okay, to just fizz away that idea that whatever's passing through consciousness, like like we like to grab those things, the play of consciousness, like grab them. I'm going to make that sucker real, that something's really happening to me. And then he just goes, okay, let's just pass it through the Jesus filter here. And it comes out clean on you know, that's how it felt like at first. I was putting everything in the washing machine and letting it be washed out, and then it comes out. And you see it's nothing on the other side. See, the thoughts just a little evaporation tunnel. The requirements of as much indiscriminateness as possible in selecting the subjects. This is so helpful. He keeps repeating this. And boy, it's been such a lesson. I'm thankful to you, Jesus, for this. This is where the ego plays. It plays in the currency of of protecting some things over other, you know, it's that selectivity. And the only way sameness, which is joy, infinite joy, can be experienced is by having everything without exception go through the Jesus filter. Like the freedom, the joy, the infinite. When it goes through the, you know, let them clear out everything. Just go, I don't care about anything other than giving you everything, like that. Like, and just keep giving it all, whatever, you know, I'm turning it over to you. I'm, you know, 100% on 100% on everything. Because he'll tell you, and you can ask him, you cannot leave a single scrap unlooked at. And he'll tell you, yes, I can hear him tell me right now. Everything. The requirement of as much indiscriminateness as possible in selecting subjects for the practice period should be quite familiar to you by now and will no longer be repeated each day. Okay, Jesus. So we're going to remember everything, although it will occasionally be included as a reminder. Do not forget, however, that random selection of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. I don't think I remembered that when I first did the course. Oh, I know I didn't. That's because that's the play, to be selective. And he's saying, give everything to me, every thought. That's what they, oh. Do not forget, however, that random selection of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. Lack of order in this connection will ultimately make the recognition of lack of order in miracles meaningful to you. Oh, okay, this is good to pay attention to. Let's see. However, the random selection of subjects for all practice periods remains essential throughout. Lack of order in this connection, because we love, oh, he's just so helpful. Consciousness loves to put thought, order thought, see, that make things different in thought. And if we're making things different in thought, that's the way it denies that all miracles are possible, that there are no order of difficulties of miracles. That's a play in consciousness, that they're difficulty in order of miracles. So he's already showing us, you start seeing these things in a whole new light. For me, that's how he's showing us the falling away of order of difficulty of miracles, because it's a thought. There's an order to them. There's a thought, it's a concept. So if we hold on to any concepts, we won't see that miracles are universal, apply to everything without exception. Apart from the as-needed application of today's idea, at least 3 practice periods are required, shortening the length of time involved if necessary. Do not attempt more than 4. And I'm saying, Jesus, are we to follow this exactly? He said, yes, follow my instructions to the letter. And I see why I was overlooking that little part of random selection. He said, you are following within your level of awareness. You know, we can only go where, you know, we don't even see what we don't see. He says, just stay with the lessons. Stay with my instructions to the best of your ability. But I can see how that indiscriminate looking is so valuable, because it's already teaching us day 19 to hide nothing and just look at everything. Well, he reminded me, he started earlier than that, but he's reminding, you know, oh, there's so much love in that. He's saying, I'm showing you out of the gate. So he withholds nothing. He's given it to us full Monty from day 1. Look with me, hear my voice, follow my voice, and just admit the denials. Honesty of God. We're going to do honesty of God chapter. I love that chapter. I love I'm so grateful. It's like I was pouring out, this typing was pouring out. I was telling Renee yesterday, hardly any edits, you know, it just comes out. And it's like, you don't even know what it is really until I've gone through it with them, you know, and just, holy smokes, Jesus. Oh my gosh. Oh, honesty of God. See that you're infinite light. How simple can that be? I needed simple, obviously. Admit you're denying that you are light and cease to deny light. Ask for miracles. That's it. All the way home. So thank you, Jesus, for bringing us. Thank you, beloved mighties, for being here and bringing your love and your support and willingness. And it's so inspiring being with mighties that are so dedicated. So thank you for that. We love you. And we're going to have, before we go, oh, good to see you all. Lori, we're just set up. It'll take us a second. She's going to give us a beautiful song today. And I'll have to turn the camera too so they can see you. See if we can get this over here. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay, love you all. Here comes Lori. A song for all of us, from love to love.
Namaste, everyone. This one is called No Hands. I'm not as crazy as I used to be, living in a pink hotel, sleeping on a park bench. I am dancing in the dark, feeling like a rolling stone. We dropped the rock and lost the roll. Have I paved paradise and built a fortress around my heart? Tall tales or truth, everything in its own time. And bubbles rise up for air, blowing in the summer breeze. We're setting the sun free. This dream of there. Dive down deep with no hands. Look with me with no hands. And have I hidden your love away from the bright lights of day? It's never too late and you're never too loud. The abilities you possess are only shadows of your real strength. And bubbles rise up for air, blowing in the summer breeze. We're setting the sun free. This dream of there. Dive down deep. Look with me with no hands. Rise, Holy Spirit, rise up. Rise, awake, go sleeper, and rise up, bubbles rise up for air, blowing in the summer breeze. We're setting the sun free. This dream of there. Dive down deep, look with me with no hands. no hands. Thank you. It came, well, it's so cool because like I brought another song in, right? And No Hands is on the back, and everything you said, I just felt was like, oh, I guess I could, you know, because you hear it, you know, you hear where to go, you know, and so someone told me it was right there for me. So I was listening to Jesus.
Amen. Amen. Oh, thank you, brothers. We love you all from San Juan. Lord. Bye. Wow.